so today is the day. We're gonna Cerakote the wheel on the spare wheel, which is gonna become my primary wheel for the 749. And in typical me fashion, I'm running super late. So I'm gonna get in the car and head down to Northport, and we're gonna Cerakote this wheel. What is up, Florida Moto Talk? So I am here at Nightcoat Cerakote, just repping I was on a sandblaster. So yeah, I was running late this morning, trying to get ready for the track in October. Finally had a plan for how I was gonna get both bikes with the correct tires and with the shock on the 749 and all that stuff. And this morning, or I feel like I would have noticed it if it happened last week, but this morning I have developed a fork seal leak on the Monster, which is less than ideal when you're trying to go to the track in like a month or so. So yeah, I got that to add to my list. So this morning did not go to plan. I have helmet hair, did not take a shower, I did not remember a hat because I was panicking, and poor Jeff, who is busy wrangling German Shepherds right now, had to sit around and waste some time this morning waiting for me to get here. So, so what is Cerakoting? It's a ceramic coating. It's pretty similar to powder coating. The process is the same. So you degrease parts. So here's the chain adjusters that have been degreased, ready to be sandblasted. Then you sandblast your parts. So here's the wheel that has already been sandblasted. Suggested this beforehand because he was concerned this was going to take a really long time. It ended up not being too bad. So we had to soften some of the rashed edges. Because this wheel had a hard life somewhere along the line, so we tidied that up a little bit. So yeah, you degrease, sandblast, and then you spray with your Cerakote. We're using Cerakote FX to try to get a color shift effect. I haven't been too open about the color yet, so I'm not going to say anything. But the big difference is with Cerakoting is better for higher tolerance parts. So it's not as thick of a coating. So when you're dealing with automotive, or I guess it's getting big in aircraft now as well, purposes, it's a valuable tool for maintaining those tolerances and stuff, making sure parts still fit. And if you're that worried about it, it's probably lighter weight too. Alright, this is Jeff. So basically, I don't know what we're doing next, but we gotta sandblast the chain adjusters, and then spray the wheel and the chain adjusters, and then bake them. So we think the chain adjusters are gonna go in the smaller oven here. The wheel is pretty much going to take up most of our operating space in the larger oven, and he has checked, it does fit in there, so we'll see how it goes. so Jeff just wrapped up, and you can keep doing what you're doing. I'm just gonna film around. So Jeff just wrapped up sandblasting the chain adjusters from Iconic Parts, by the way. I keep forgetting to shout them out. They're a UK-based small company that make pretty good shit. So check them out, see if they make anything for your bike. But so you sandblast it at about 60 PSI with a medium called 100 grit garnet, which is, I'm assuming, comes from the color of the stuff. So yeah, not too bad of a process. All you're doing is etching the surface so that the coating will actually stick to it. So you're not cleaning it that way or anything like that. It's just creating a bit of abrasion for the coating to stick to. So I'm guessing next is going to be mixing the proper concoction, and then we'll start spraying. So Jeff just wrapped up doing some Breaking Bad shit, mixing up the graphite black base coat. So he's gonna get started spraying that, and then the FX, which creates the color and hopefully the color shift effect, is gonna go in the clear coat that we spray after. I think you said you spray the clear while it's still wet? Yeah, so you spray the graphite.
So it'll get sprayed wet on wet.
Yeah, okay, so it goes wet on wet. No curing, drying, anything like that in between. So I'm not sure how we're gonna film this because it's a tight booth, but we'll do what we can. Off real quick. So normally Jeff will have the booth closed, but because he's painting a large wheel and needs some room to move around in there, he's got the door open. Plus that also kind of helps with filming. So he built this booth in the middle of his garage. So normally with the door closed, most of his air is coming in filtered through there, and then if you see on the back wall, he's got another air filter positioned at an angle to help pull air out. So he's got that run through to a fan up top there, and then just simple shooting straight out the window. So pretty efficient setup for doing this in your garage at home. film it, but just had to do some more mad science because wheels take a lot of coat, I guess. So he said 50 mLs is normally more than enough to do what he's doing, and today he had, what, we got 50 already in the chain adjusters and the wheel, and he just made another 22.5. So hopefully that gets us through, because I think he's out of, oh no, he's got some more up here. I thought we were out of clean mixing utensils, so yeah, the tricky surfaces on the wheel are done, so now it's more just the smoother outer surface, which is quicker and easier. So Jeff's spraying a Lexus of Cerakote tumbler thing right now. Try the FX color shift on one of those as well while we're at it. So with those, he does stenciling. So he prints out a vinyl, puts it on with whatever he wants. So like Lexus of Cerakote, or just Lexus and the logo. Oh, dude, don't worry about it. So, how the stenciling works is he starts with the base coat, put a stencil over it. Like, so with these, he just leaves them silver, does one coat, pulls it off. With this one, started painting the whole thing red, and then puts a stencil on, and then does a black coat on top of that, and that's where you get your effect. So you can see on his cup here how that kind of comes out with a 2-coat. So we're trying the color shift with the Lexus of Cerakote. See how that comes out. And that's the base coat on everything. Now to see how the FX stuff works. So before we can mix and spray the clear with the FX stuff in it, everything has to be cleaned out with acetone, and then has to gas out, just to make sure you don't have any residual color or even acetone in there to thin things out. So that's the fun part of having to do 2 coats on something, is you gotta clean everything up in between. So, and then I believe Jeff was telling me the other day that the actual Cerakote initial coat has to, quote, gas out as well. So you spray wet per se. It is drying out, but it's not baked. But it is good to let it gas out in between coats. So we're gonna be getting started on the color momentarily. Here goes nothing. So a few minutes ago we were worried it was going to be tough to tell where the clear was sprayed. Turns out this stuff is magic. The second you hit the black, it just goes full-blown multicolor purple with blues and pinks and purples in there. So we got 2 layers on all the small bits, so they're gassing out and getting ready to go in the oven. Jeff is mixing some more, and we're gonna hit the wheel with a second coat, which just really brings it out. He's gonna finish up this cup too. So yeah, no concerns about being able to tell where we'd sprayed because it's instant and it is incredible. So yeah, we're both pretty impressed with this. Like I said before, Jeff's never sprayed this FX stuff before, so he didn't know what to expect. And he is suitably impressed as well. So wrap the second coat up on the wheel. We got 1 oven preheating for the small stuff. We'll give the wheel 15 minutes to gas out too, and then we'll start baking. Alright, so the little oven's preheated. So Jeff is ever so delicately placing the iconic parts chain adjusters. So that's going to bake for 2 hours. And then because it's going to be tricky getting this wheel into the bigger oven, we're letting this gas out. And then we're going to put this in that oven without preheating it. So that Jeff doesn't melt his arm off. So then we'll just put that one in for like 2 hours and 15 minutes to give some time for the preheating that we're not doing. And then once the Cerakote's baked on, it's easy to get out of there because then you can handle it. So he's got gloves for the heat. So yeah, now the painful baking process. Do you think the color is going to change at all with baking, or is it going to just stay as it is?
It's probably going to be about as it is right now.
Okay. Yes.
Shouldn't change much.
So like I said, Jeff hasn't used this stuff before, so this is a learning experience for everyone. So I'm not going to make you watch 2 hours of oven time lapse. So I'll probably show you how we put the wheel in, and then we'll come back once everything's done cooking. Alright, we got so excited I forgot that we were supposed to be filming. So Jeff's just pulled the cup out. He's pulling the stencil off of there so you can get your lettering. So he was telling me that's high temp stenciling so that the oven doesn't like melt it or glue it on there. Also, there's some dogs out here now, so that's cool. Hi, Zeus. He doesn't know what to think of that. He's as nervous on camera as his dad. So we got the chain adjusters out, so we put one together. So we were talking about it at work the other day, and Jeff thought, and I agree, it was a good idea to leave the bolts as they were, and they look pretty sweet. And then this bolt actually has the plastic spool for the stands on there because the first generation 749 and 999 had nowhere to put spools. So I'll have to put those on later when I get home. So the cup is out of the big oven, so next step is going to be pulling the wheel out of there. Zeus is still fascinated by this thing I'm holding. He's never sat that still in his entire life. So next we're gonna pull the wheel out. All right, we kicked the dogs out because here comes the big one, the delicate part of the procedure. There it is, boys and girls. I've been hinting at this in like 8 weeks worth of videos. I should have brought some of the bolts.
Oh, well, yeah. See if we can put that
But this morning was total chaos, so. Oh, so you used the stencil to cover that up?
Yep.
Okay.
in there. Yeah, it gets a little more heat resistant than.
Geez, I mean, those bearings. It doesn't look like it did anything. I still plan on replacing it anyway, but.
Yeah. I was more worried about the oil
Yeah.
coming up, but they stayed pretty dry.
So that's mission success, I would say. So what do you think between degreasing and everything? You said about half an hour sandblasting the wheel,
Yep.
and I wasn't here for that. And then what do you think your cleaning time was on the wheel and the chain adjusters?
Probably about another. This chain adjuster sat and soaked for about 2 hours. You know, you don't really have to go an hour, right? You can go overboard with it.
Okay. But that wasn't like scrubbing time, that was like
No,
just
that
put
was-
them down, let them sit type of thing.
Let them soak, and then I do have a brush over there to scrub them down just to make sure I get any heavier stuff off.
So
Probably about
let's just say 2.5, maybe 3 hours prep time.
prep, yeah.
And then today we started around 10. It's now 3. So like 8-ish hours
Roughly about that. Yeah.
total. And some of that was baking time and sitting in a acetone bath time. So not too bad overall.
No.
So we were hoping to get everything out in some bright sunshine. But we're in Florida and it's September now, actually, September 1st. So I'm not sure how that's gonna go, but we'll get it out in some natural light, take some pictures, and then I don't have a tire to put on that wheel right now. But I can't help myself. I am gonna put it on the back of the bike with the chain adjusters just kind of as a mock-up and see how that looks, and then that'll probably be how we wrap up the video. So I'm not gonna bother Jeff because he doesn't want to be on camera that much, but once again, this was Jeff with Knight's Coat Cerakote in Northport, Florida, and huge shout out to him for taking us through this. And him and I are working on some sort of Florida MOTOGP pricing deal for people who want to get car parts and some smaller bike parts and stuff Cerakoted. So we're working on something with that. So definitely, if you reach out to him on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that, let him know Florida MOTOGP sent you, and he'll definitely take care of you. So we'll pick this back up at home, and I'll get the wheel and stuff on the bike, and we'll kind of get a general idea how things are gonna look. Thanks, guys. What's up, Florida MOTOGP? All right, it's now Monday, Labor Day, I believe. I am back with the bikes. Have confirmed definitely a fork seal leak on the Monster. Yeah. So I've been thinking about it. Just real quick, I think my plan is to send the 749 to Tampa first, because theoretically I don't have to have the Monster at the track. And then, assuming time allows, I will send the Monster up, and unless I misunderstand the process of replacing a fork seal, it is not something I want to do, or frankly can do, because I don't have the right type of front stand. So I couldn't do it if I wanted to anyway. But I'm pretty sure I don't want to. So anyway, I am back with the freshly Cerakoted pieces. So I'm gonna put the little rubber bobbins back on and get these on the bike. And then I forgot to bring some with me yesterday, but I knew I wanted purple all along. I was thinking like a dark violet or something. I don't know, just to do something different. Everyone's doing like lime green and, you know, like the Rossi colors or black or even white. So I wanted to do something different. But what really motivated the color shift thing was I ordered some Purple Haze Pro Bolt titanium rear brake rotor bolts. And I brought those into work and showed them to Jeff from Knight's Coat and said, hey, you know, this is kind of the shade of purple I want. I know we're not going to be able to do the color shift thing. And then that's what triggered Jeff to go, hey, they actually have something for that. So I cannot believe how well he nailed this. I mean, you look at those bolts on there. That is, oh, trying to keep the shadow out of things. That is exactly what we were going for. And I mean, just, I don't know if the camera is doing it, but just in this shot, you've got purples, blues, almost pinks even. So yeah. Bad news is, I am not gonna have a tire to put on this wheel for a while. I just put a fresh Dunlop on the other wheel, as well as some fresh all balls wheel bearings. So we'll cover that more later, but so I've got this fresh Dunlop. So I won a set of Dunlops from Greg White and Jason Pridmore, as I've said. And that front still has a lot of life on it, so I put another rear on there to kind of burn that up. And then I'm gonna try out Pirelli slicks. So the first time I use that wheel will also be the first time using a Pirelli slick. The rear rotor's back ordered as well, theoretically shipping September 6th, but it was supposed to ship August 28th. So it's already been bumped back once. So anyway, I'm gonna get these chain adjusters on here. The ass end of this bike needs a really good cleaning, but I'm not gonna do that today. I'm just gonna do a quick mock-up, and I'll do a good clean when I have the other wheel on. I also forgot to bring my push drive, if you can even call it that. Ducati does it weird. And rear sprocket when I had bearings changed. So I'm hoping the bearings in there aren't as stiff and I can get them out at home, because the bearings in the wheel with the equipment I had was completely impossible for me to do here. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Man, now I'm having ideas like Cerakote this piece black. Yeah, now things are gonna start getting out of control with this Cerakoting newly formed addiction that I have. But for now, let's get this wheel on there, the chain adjusters on there, and kind of mock this up and get an idea of what we're dealing with. I cannot wait. boy, it looks good. So I didn't put a spacer in there. I obviously don't have a rear rotor, and I didn't bother putting the chain on because there's no tire, so I'm not riding it. I'm just did a little mock-up. So oh, those chain adjusters are sweet. So it's kind of hard to get a great idea, but you get the general concept. Let's come around this side. And of course my light's tied up. So yeah, that's how that looks. What I'm really excited for is to see it spinning and out in the sunlight. I mean, I could wheel the bike back on the stand out to the sun, but it's not gonna look right until there's a tire and everything's on there the way it should be. But I'm happy. I think that looks cool. I think it's gonna look sick in pictures with that wheel spinning. You know, down the road I may do something creative with the front wheel as well. May do the same thing. Who knows? But yeah, I am very happy with that. So my takeaways on the whole process. You know, Jeff and I were talking about it off camera yesterday. We figure it was about 8 or 9 hours total, but about 2.5 hours of that was baking time. Another hour or two of that was, or an hour maybe, was kind of degreasing time. I think he let the parts sit in simple green or acetone or something like that to help degrease them. So 8-ish hours total, and that included grinding down the rash spots on the wheel because it was in pretty bad shape. Sandblasting everything, the chain adjusters, and you know, he sprayed that cup as well as part of that process, which a couple times he had to mix a little more Cerakote to spray that. So overall 8-ish hours, and you take a pretty crappy looking wheel and chain adjusters. Well, the chain adjusters were brand new, they looked good, but I just wanted some color. But the wheel was in rough shape, and turned it into this. I mean, right now inside it doesn't do it any justice to what it's gonna look like outside, but I think that is so clean. So yeah, I'm gonna have the light blue Nitron shock is gonna be on there, which I think complements the purple pretty nice. Put the white Nitron stickers on here, assuming they fit. I think it looks cool. I think this bike's starting to look pretty factory. So process as a whole, I mean, Jeff has a crazy good setup. I was very impressed. You know, everything worked well. He's obviously got a lot of practice. He's got this stuff down to a science. But he does amazing work. The Cerakote process as a whole, I was amazed. We took this stuff out of the oven, and as soon as it was cool enough to handle, even though we'd put 3 layers on some of the surfaces, like the wheel had 3 layers, 1 base, the graphite black base, and 2 clears with the effects. The tolerances are still so tight, every single bolt went straight back in there with no issues, no resistance, no cleaning, no nothing, straight out of the oven. The FX process was super cool. Jeff had never worked with that before, so we didn't know what to expect. And I think I touched on it yesterday, but we were literally talking right before he started spraying about how sometimes with clear, it's hard to tell where you've sprayed and you don't want to miss anywhere. And as soon as you started spraying, it's like you're using a magic wand or something. It just turned purple instantly. So that was very cool as well. Yeah, I mean, there were two grown men in a booth giggling at how cool the process was. So, yeah, I mean, Cerakoting as a whole, I think, is very, very impressive. You know, 3 layers and all the bolts still went in just fine. So, I'm not gonna do it today because I got some time. Actually, crap, if I want to send this bike to Tampa, I kind of should do it today. So I guess this will be the end of this video. Maybe I'll do some filming to start the final steps for sending the Ducati to Tampa. And yeah, otherwise she's pretty much there. So someone on the Florida Moto Talk YouTube gave me an idea to do a full breakdown of everything I have in this bike. So I'm thinking, assuming I get both bikes to Jennings one day, once the track is closed, I'll try to film on location, wheel both bikes out on the front straight, make a nice pretty video for you guys, and just go through everything I've done on the bikes and some of the odds and ends that may have been on them when I got them. More with the Monster. The 749 I've done everything to. It was stock and broken when I bought it. And now I think maybe not on the Dunlops because I just don't have the confidence on the Dunlops. But I think once I get back on Pirellis, I think conservatively I'll be in 126s this season at Jennings. But I'm not going to spend as much time there. I'm going to try to branch out and hit some other tracks. So I don't know. That's my guess. I'm going to say 126s. So right now my best is a 130.7. I think that's doable once I can feel what the ass end of the bike is doing and I get back on a tire I like. So yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for this one. I don't even know what time it is, but I'm gonna see. I should probably try to get that other wheel on this bike so this bike can go to Ducati. I still need a tire valve stem on this one. The one I ordered didn't fit, of course, but I've got a 90-degree black valve stem to go in here, which will look nice. But yeah, I am super happy, super happy. So, all right, I think I'm gonna start filming for the next video now, and then hopefully in a week or so, we can kind of look at the finished product of this bike. And I don't know, maybe I'll go down the list everything before I take it to Jennings, but we'll see what happens. So I'm sure this was a long one, but I had fun making it. I'm gonna have fun editing it, and hopefully you guys better understand Cerakoting. And like I said, if you're anywhere near Northport, Florida, and you have some stuff you want Cerakoted, reach out to Jeff on Facebook or Instagram at Knightscoat. He has a YouTube channel that I think he's mostly got just like car stuff from when he built track cars and stuff on there. But I don't know, maybe this will motivate him to start filming some of his Cerakoting. But yeah, reach out to him, let him know Florida Moto Talk sent you, and he'll hook you up with the friends and family pricing. He's a good dude. So I think that's gonna wrap it up for this one. Thanks a lot, guys.